I'm not happy with what Putin's doing. He's killing a lot of people, and I don't know what the hell happened to Putin. I've known him a long time, always gotten along with him, but he's sending rockets into cities and killing people, and I don't like it at all.
Welcome back, and thanks for choosing to hang out with your host, the Conservative Bird, and his co-host, me, Double D, and you're on the Brick Road Podcast.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. We really do appreciate you guys stopping by and hanging out with us. We got a pretty good episode here for you today. Talk a little bit about Trump. We go a little bit into some funny stuff. You know, I don't know if you guys know who Edgar the Puppet is, but he's becoming a little bit more famous more lately. We're gonna show you some of the reasons why, and then we're also gonna get into at the end of the episode about these liberal judges and just letting these criminals get away with damn near everything with no repercussions involved. And it's getting worse and worse and worse, and it's happening in these cities all around. But without further ado, let's get into the first thing we're going to talk about. So we know Putin and Ukraine Russia and Ukraine are at war right now. Putin and Zelensky do not like each other. This is evident, right? So Trump is trying to be the peacemaker, the negotiator, the person to bring real world peace to the real peace to the entire world. And it seems like Putin has another objective, and he's not with it for some reason, Double D. I don't know why.
Oh, I think it's clear I don't think he wants peace, and to be entirely honest, I'm not sure Zelensky does either. Although Zelensky and his country are getting their asses kicked, so
yeah,
I mean, if they definitely want to resolve it, but nobody wants to give.
Yeah, but let's be fair. I don't really think Zelensky cares either, because he's getting rich off all of this.
He definitely has made more money than he would have made if it wasn't happening. That's for sure.
Right. So if you guys haven't, go ahead.
He made a lot more than he would have made just as president.
Oh, without a doubt, or as a terrible actor like he was.
Yeah, and not a very good comedian either. I've yet to see him say anything funny, and I've actually tried to watch his stuff and laugh at it.
I mean,
it's just not funny.
Let's think about this, funny. Right? So he's not a good actor. He's not a good comedian, and he's a terrible president. That's like the most negative hat trick I've ever heard of.
And what makes it worse is he needs to step down. Honestly, I think Zelensky needs to step down, or at least hold a fair election.
Yeah,
and give his people an opportunity to maybe, I don't know, find another leader that might have a better plan. Because right now, the one that he's using ain't working, and the one that Putin is doing right now, well,
it's at least effective for him. It's stopped me, like, for what's going on. Putin, I don't agree with it, but it's keeping things more at a halt instead of just an outright invasion, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, but I'm not sure he wants to stop the war.
I don't think so. It doesn't seem like he does either. You know, it seems like he has another objective at hand, and
that objective is, I think I know what it is.
Yeah.
He wants Ukraine back as part of the Soviet. He wants the old Soviet Union. So I don't think Putin's going to stop at Ukraine. He's going to go into the Baltics after. Although most of those are NATO countries now, though.
Right. And I think that's the one thing he's the most upset about is they said they weren't going to move NATO east, and they decided to continue to go more and more east towards Russia, and I think it's just really upsetting him a lot.
Well, they brought it to his backyard, and quite frankly, I'm not sure that I mean, with the Crimea thing back in 2014, I think that kind of gave us a little idea that he may or at some point want to go further. It looks like he has. He basically wants that eastern bloc of Ukraine that speaks Russian.
Right. Which, I mean, I don't know. Like I say, I never looked into the whole thing. I don't know if he's right or wrong in this aspect, but I do understand him being upset about NATO moving further and further towards Russia and telling Russia that they're not allowed to be involved with NATO, though. That's the one thing I do understand.
Yeah, I never understood why they did that. What was the purpose of keeping?
I don't know, but
NATO
but
anyway?
I believe it was Bill Clinton, right, that told him that
Yeah,
he wanted to
yeah.
get him into NATO.
I mean, I guess I think you're right on that. I'm honestly, I'd have to look it up to be completely entirely for sure. But
You know what?
I do know the Western countries back in the '90s were definitely frowning on. I think they were the reason why is they didn't. I mean, they didn't want to compete for basically the greater
Okay.
power of the world.
So
And
let's see if the comments can answer it for us. Is this true that Bill Clinton was trying to get Putin into NATO? And if so, what was the reasoning why they decided not to let him in? I don't remember exactly.
yeah, I mean, I was in my early 20s back then, so
Right. I was just a little baby.
yeah, it's maybe that was a mistake
Yeah.
in the long run. Maybe Bill Clinton was onto something,
Maybe.
and you know, I mean, because you're saying Bill Clinton wanted them to be part of NATO,
From
right?
what I remember, I don't quote me on that because I don't want to say I'm 1,000% sure on that. But I thought it was that Bill Clinton was pushing for him to get into NATO, and something happened where they didn't want Russia to join.
Yeah, yeah, there was definitely a reason, that's for sure. I know. I mean, maybe it was like again, maybe it was just a conflict of superpowers.
Yeah,
It could be
that could be it too. That
you know,
definitely could be it.
Clinton probably foresaw what was going to happen. Was like, you know, maybe if we made them part of NATO, it's better to have them as an ally
Definitely.
than that standing on the outside. You know,
Wondering what
always
they're going to do.
wondering.
Yeah, wondering what they're going to do. Wondering what their next move is. Kind of makes a little bit of sense.
I mean, I know back then a lot of the Democrats really hated Putin then too.
Yeah,
so,
for sure. That's true.
And that not much has changed on it. They pretty much not liked the guy for 30 years. And
Right.
honestly, I don't think there's been any leaders outside of Donald Trump really that have tried at any point to, you know, actually negotiate some kind of.
I mean, look what Trump did.
Or
Look what Trump did in South Korea. He's the only president to step foot on the soil.
what was that again?
Or what was that, North Korea or South Korea, where he was the only president to step foot on the soil?
I believe that was North Korea.
Right, with not is it Xi Jinping? No,
Yeah. Kim
Jong Un. See, I always get
Yeah,
I always get them people with him and Xi Jinping mixed up.
Yeah, Xi Jinping is China. Kim Jong Un is North Korea. But honestly, what's the difference?
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Okay, so we now we know though that Trump's starting to get a little upset with Putin because, like, you know, he came in. One of the things that he ran on was, "I want to bring peace to the world." Now, obviously,
Right.
Trump can't just do it and say, "Hey, I want peace," and it's done. You have to have other parties agree to everything as well. So what he's saying is, "I want to broker the peace around the world." That doesn't mean that it's 1,000% going to get done, because you have things like this, where Putin's not going by the plan, Zelensky's not going by the plan. So when people are against the plan, it's not going to work.
It kind of seems to be the case. I think in a way, Donald Trump was trying to maybe bully the both of them a little bit. And the bully them or pushed. I don't want to use bully. That's a bad term.
Yeah, I would say more so stand firm with them and let them know. Yeah, firmly let them know they need to. Yeah, firmly let them know that they need to end this war. That this is not nonsense. It's doing nothing but killing unnecessary soldiers in Ukraine and in Russia. It's spending billions and billions of dollars of our taxpayer money. Like, it's beyond ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, and you know how I feel about any Americans being involved with that beyond negotiation. I do not want to see one American man or woman have to step foot on either one of those countries to defend it. Sorry, that's just the way it. Because there's, first of all, I think that those two countries need to figure this shit out by themselves. But since Donald Trump is going to try to be the one to negotiate it, I know what he was trying to use. He was trying to use coercion and persuasion. I think Putin is a little more, how do I put this? He's a little more hard-headed than that.
Yeah, for sure. He definitely is.
It's going to take a little more than the art of persuasion. It's going to take the art of the deal.
I could see that. So let's check it out, what they have to say about it.
The New York Post cover calling out the, quote, war of words between President Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin. Tensions are rising after Russia launched its largest attacks of the entire three-year war this weekend. Here's the president on Sunday.
I'm not happy with what Putin's doing. He's killing a lot of people, and I don't know what the hell happened to Putin. I've known him a long time, always gotten along with him. But he's sending rockets into cities and killing people, and I don't like it at all.
A few hours later, the president posted that Putin has gone absolutely crazy, exclamation point. The Kremlin responded with, this is a very crucial moment, which is associated with, of course, the emotional overload and with emotional reactions. Just last Monday, President Trump and Putin of Russia held a 2-hour phone call on a potential ceasefire. Here's White House Ukraine envoy, retired Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg.
He's done more in 120 days than the previous administration did 1,200 days. I think he just needs to keep at it. It's frustrating, I know that. But the only guy that can do this is President Trump. You know, negotiations are never easy, but there's nowhere this war is going to end through violence, through killing of soldiers on either side.
Right.
It's going to come down to negotiation.
So here's my thing, Double D, right? They call this man Hitler. They literally call this man a Nazi. I've never heard of a Hitler or a Nazi wanting peace in two countries that have nothing to do with us.
Yeah, if anything, a Hitler or a Nazi would be taking advantage of it and wiping them both off the map while it was going on.
These people are just
honestly,
gullible.
Let's look at what Adolf Hitler would have really had done. I mean, he would have, just like with Czechoslovakia and when they were having all those, I mean, he just walked in and annexed it.
Right.
You're like, sorry, you belong to me now. You know what I mean? And honestly, I mean, it was for the same reasons that, I mean, Putin's for trying to take the eastern part of, Ukraine.
Right.
Czechoslovakia was German speaking. Well, the eastern side of Ukraine is predominantly Russian speaking. And I don't think he's going to stop until he unites the Russian speaking people. And I think that's the only way we're going to negotiate a deal. And I know Zelensky don't want to give up that part.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure he's going to have a choice, or he ain't going to have a country at all.
You might be right. You might be right on that.
I mean, from the standpoint of the people and the citizens, at this point, does it matter which government they have? They're both corrupt as shit.
Right. It seems like they're both all about themselves.
Yeah, I mean, they're either way, they're going to be stuck with a corrupt government. So it doesn't matter if it's Putin or Zelensky at this point. Nope. I say give Putin the eastern half of give him the Russian eastern half of Ukraine. He's going to take it anyway.
Yeah, it's almost inevitable.
And I think behind the scenes, I think that's what Donald Trump is saying. He ain't saying it outright.
No, he doesn't. That's part of everything, because laying the whole plan out or laying the whole thing out, it gives no element of surprise if there could be one.
And Zelensky at this point, I mean, he has nothing to lose at this point.
Right.
He already made his money. He's made more money, and he has funneled more money into his coffers than he would have ever gotten trying his little stunt in Hollywood. So, whatever the Ukrainian version of Hollywood is. Point being is, he never would have made this money in entertainment. So he should take his winnings, have another election, let somebody else come in and negotiate, because Zelensky's he's hard-headed too.
Yeah.
Putin's where he's at. He's in a powerful position, so you can't really ask him to step down.
It's true.
I mean, maybe he'll die, or maybe one of his own people will, you just never know. But it's a funny thing over in the Kremlin. They have a funny way of, how do I put this, just dying of natural causes for no reason.
That's crazy. Yeah.
It's kind of been that way since the 30s.
Also signaled he's absolutely considering new sanctions against Russia. The New York Post editorial board headline, new sanctions shock crazy Putin to his senses. In focus now, Republican Congressman Brian Mast of the great state of Florida, chairman of the House Foreign Affairs Committee.
Great state of Florida.
Great to see you. Always. Thank you for your service as well. Look, Congressman, we are at a point now where President Trump seems to be running out of patience with Putin. And that means money taken away from the Russian people. Will that work?
Yeah.
I think it's a big part of it. I think Putin is negotiating this, not even negotiating it, looking for his terms at the table.
Yeah.
And he reads this as, if he can continue to take life and if he can continue to take land in kilometers away from Ukraine, then that puts him in a stronger position to get all of the terms that he wants. And I don't think that he looks at anything other than that, doesn't see the value of life. And so I think President Trump justly characterizes him as crazy. If you have no value in human life, then you are a crazy person. Does he see the loss of resources in terms of 10% or greater of his economy just going to military spending, the extreme high inflation going on in Russia right now, the inability to provide for their people, and the sanctions going on, not just against Russia, but against those that are going to buy from Russia? Yeah, that's going to continue to cripple their economy. But at a certain point, he has to either, take value for human life, or everybody's going to recognize that he is the war criminal that we have been saying that he is. And I would just make one other point on this. Even if Putin is in a strong position because he can continue to take life and take land, he's getting himself into a position, I think, that the world never takes him or Russia back.
So that's interesting.
He might be right about that, actually. I think he's right about that,
dude. I don't want to say I necessarily agree with that, okay? And I say this because we still accept Germany,
Dude, they basically pushed Germany into submission for 35 years.
No, I get it, but we still did eventually accept them. You know what I mean?
They were a conquered people. I mean,
I'm just saying, for him to say never.
American lives. I don't want to see any American men or women over there.
But for him to say never is a little bit of a broad statement, because never say never.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there. That's for sure. But I just. Again,
right now, Putin's not looking good. Putin's not looking good in this situation at all.
And it really does scare me that we're going to end up having American men and women sitting on that border against them, and that would be really, really bad, Bird. That's World War III. The floodgates will open if that happens.
I don't want to say it's
hell will be unleashed on the world.
I don't want to say it's almost inevitable, but it's really leaning towards that right now, sadly to say. And I don't want to see our youth have to go through that, because it's unnecessary for them. It's going to put them in a situation where, to be honest, a lot of these kids I don't think are built for it nowadays.
I don't think any human being is going to be built for World War III.
Now with all the technology and everything going on nowadays too, dude, there's going to be so many different types of drone strikes. You know what I'm saying? Flying through the air, dropping dust that'll fucking kill. Sorry, excuse my language. It'll kill people. And stuff like that, dude. Like it's kind of crazy to think.
If I may quote Albert Einstein, when they asked him after World War II, hey, what's World War III going to look like? Mm-hmm. He was like, I can't tell you that, but I'll tell you this. World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones.
Yep, and that's...
and we're getting really close to that, man. We're getting really close to the verge of our, We're gonna be back to hand and mouth and sticks and stones and living like cavemen if we don't figure this out.
And clearly, he's all in. Doesn't matter what it costs in terms of hurting his own people. He doesn't care. And we've always known that about him. That's not breaking news about Putin. But at this point in history, he thinks that he can win. Can he?
I think he can continue, just what I said, I think he can continue to take land and life. Now, there are some positive things that are going on in this situation as well. You have Ukraine and you have Russia in direct talks with one another right now. You have Ukraine and Russia exchanging prisoners right now. They've exchanged about 600 troops each side in total. By the end of this week, probably they'll be up to 1,000. So you have some positive things going on. And on the Ukrainian side, you do have them with the capabilities to actually hit inside Russia proper. Russia has had to close down commerce in different places and different airports because Ukraine is taking the fight to them. But Ukraine essentially cannot stop them right now. I'd use the words of Marco Rubio last week when he testified to me. He said, listen, Russia wants something that doesn't belong to them, and Ukraine cannot take back what's stolen from them right now. That's the difficult position that we're in.
Wow.
That's a real difficult position to be in, too.
It's very difficult. Very difficult.
And honestly, Bert, isn't that what I've been saying all along?
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, at this point, any peace negotiation is going to include what Russia already controls.
Right. So they're gonna say,
no
well,
other way around that. I
no,
don't
for
see
sure.
no way out of that.
So I feel, because so what they're gonna do is he's gonna take as much land as he can, and once they do come to a peace, he's gonna be like, well, everything I took, I'm keeping.
Pretty much, and I think that's why Zelensky hasn't agreed to it yet. And honestly, again, I think behind the scenes,
I still don't
I
think that's the reason that Zelensky hasn't agreed to it. I just think that he's just getting rich off all this, and it's all a political scheme for them.
Yeah, but he's putting his own people in his own country at risk to do it. So I hope. So if we're going to say that about Putin, there's no reason why we can't say that about Zelensky as well. Yeah, fair enough. You are absolutely right, man. I just hope that, like the president said to Zelensky a couple months ago, you don't hold the cards.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm not sure Putin does either.
No, I think we hold the cards, honestly.
I think we hold the cards, and I think maybe it's time we call the wild card because Putin and Zelensky, they're not calling. So I think it's time to call their bluff.
Just real quickly, yes or no, are we going to help them with the air support that Ukraine is begging for right now?
I think we're going to continue to allow European countries to give to Ukraine what they're asking for. They have to ask permission from the United States of America if they got those weapons from us. If we sold them to them, we will continue to allow that to take place.
All right, we'll move to this. President Trump is now giving the United States Senate the go-ahead to make changes to the big, beautiful bill that passed the House last week. Watch.
Big, beautiful bill.
The big, beautiful bill. It's a big, beautiful bill.
Do you have a message for the Senate?
No tax on
a
tips.
lot of Republicans have said there are going to be significant changes to the budget bill.
Well, I want the Senate and the senators to change, to make the changes they want, and we'll go back to the House and we'll see if we can get them. In some cases, those changes maybe are something I'd agree with, to be honest. It happens.
Right, and see, that's what a real leader does. A real leader, that's the things that they do. They say, okay, we look at things and we say, okay, we made a bill. Maybe there's some things that can be changed in it. Let's see what you guys want to change, and if I agree with it, hey, let's change it.
Thomas Jefferson once said the art of compromise is diplomacy, and the art of diplomacy is compromise.
Exactly. It goes hand in hand.
I think we got a president who has read the autobiography of Thomas Jefferson.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah. Oh, no, I don't doubt it either. I know he did. I know. I don't even have to ask him. I already know. Anybody who's a political scholar of any sort, at some point or another, will eventually read that autobiography. That and Ben Franklin's too, because how do you understand the forefathers unless you take it from their own words?
Right.
And that's what he's doing. He's trying to compromise and be diplomatic.
I think Trump's. He wants to be a perfectionist. So for him, when being the perfect president is doing everything right.
I mean, but nobody's perfect. But
no. But you understand what I'm saying, though.
Strive. Yeah, you got to strive for perfection. You got to strive.
A perfectionist isn't perfect. It's that's what it is. They strive for the perfection.
Yeah, they strive for it. That's a lot to be. There's a lot to be said for that.
I think Trump could care less about what the liberals think and everything, but I think it's more so about the common everyday man that he wants them to look at him as their president, as their president.
Well, he's the first president since Ronald Reagan that actually, is of the people. And before that, it was John F. Kennedy.
Exactly. It was.
And honestly, Donald Trump's the first persona president that we've had since, and I wasn't alive during Kennedy, but I've, studied enough of him, and I can tell you this: the Kennedy would be a conservative today.
Yeah, a lot of Democrats would be. Joe Biden back in the days would be a conservative today.
Well, Joe Biden just wanted to be president. He didn't care how he got there.
And at his age, he didn't care.
And it was his bucket list thing. He didn't really care if he was a good president. He just wanted to be president. If he wanted to really be president twice, he would have never dropped out either. He would have just took his ass kicking instead of letting Kamala get hers handed to her instead.
True.
Some Senate Republicans have warned the bill will be dead on arrival without some significant changes. And Senators Ron Johnson, Rand Paul, Mike Lee, Josh Hawley want changes such as larger spending cuts and Medicaid reforms. Here's House Speaker Mike Johnson.
I encourage them, to do their work, of course, as we all anticipate, but to make as few modifications to this package as possible, because remembering that we've got to pass it one more time to ratify their changes in the House. And I have a very delicate balance here, very delicate equilibrium that we've reached over a long period of time, and it's best not to meddle with it too much.
What do you forecast here, Congressman?
I think the point that Speaker Johnson is making is that it should be easier for the Senate to get 51 votes than it is for the House to get 218 votes. We just have a different amount of personalities that you have to deal with. Again, to look at what the president said, we hope that the Senate looks at it very seriously, makes positive changes that can benefit the United States of America, like what we put in there, right? Lowering taxes on Social Security and tips and on overtime, and making sure that we raise the child tax credit and the.
So the tips were in the big beautiful bill.
So that I got that the tips are definitely in it.
The big beautiful bill. It's beautiful. It's big.
But I know when the Senate actually took a vote on that separately, and it won 100-0.
I walked in and I looked at the bill and I said, "Wow, what a beautiful bill!
What a beautiful bill!" It's a big
standard deduction and the amount that small businesses are taxed from 20 to 23%. All very positive changes. Let's make sure we keep work requirements for people on Medicaid. You're talking to somebody missing 2 legs and a finger. And I can tell you, people need that work. You got to go out there. Just because we're not 100% doesn't mean that we don't go out there and have that purpose of work.
Amen. And always thank you for your service and your sacrifice.
I agree with that.
I agree with that too. I really do.
Yeah.
I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, that's a good point. I have no problem with that. I mean, it's just like, if you work a regular job to get your health care, what's the difference, right?
Yeah.
So if you can have government funded health care, and honestly, I think if you make a certain amount of money, you should have to pay into it too.
Why
just
not?
like regular insurance.
Why not?
You know what I mean? Affordable, of course, but
right.
It has to be affordable. To the person individually.
Exactly.
But if you're making $150,000 and you're self-employed, it's hard to get actual insurance. But if you have like healthcare.gov, that's, as long as if you're paying into it. But right now, the way it's set up, it just looks like it's a free for all.
Yeah.
Dude, there's what?
And it's not good. It's not good right now. It's not good for the people. We got so much, and it's not only that. A lot of things that they're cutting in Medicare are like the fact that you could go to a dentist and get something done, and they'll charge the insurance company 3 times more just because nobody's checking over to these things at Medicaid.
Exactly.
And they're just getting all this extra money for no reason. And these are the things that are getting cut. Things like that, illegal immigrants getting free health care, it's not happening anymore.
I was hoping you were going to bring that up because that article I read earlier today on the Washington Post, of all things, by the way, in the Washington Post, it said that the cuts to the Medicaid, that 50% of those cuts of Medicaid were actually the releasing of the illegal immigrants who
exactly
in the first place. So, and the other half are basically people who, make too much money, or they're,
plus, not only that, all this stuff's not even happening for like another 9 years.
Exactly. It's not even gonna, I think it's by 2034.
Yeah, are we being serious right now? These people are just, they want, what it is, Double D, is they just want anything to bitch and complain about.
Here's the thing. Basically, what they're saying is for the next 9 years, everybody who's already on it is going to be grandfathered in that way anyway. So it's not like they're even saying, let's cut all these people off. All they're simply saying is, in the future, you're going to have to work at least 80 hours a month to qualify.
Right.
That's all.
Hey, Double D.
You're going to have to be a legal citizen.
Hey.
I really don't think that's that big of a difference.
They say misery loves company, but it seems like Democrats love misery.
Well, yeah, and they definitely love being in the company of misery.
So I mean, hey, it goes hand in hand.
When they're around me, I feel pretty miserable.
Right. Hey, and we're going to show you right here, actually. So with this next little thing, we got Edgar the Puppet. If you guys don't know who he is, he's been making his rounds on YouTube, on social media a lot lately. This dude,
he's a conservative hero.
He is a conservative hero puppet.
Yes, he is.
This is, if you guys haven't checked his channel out, go check it out. It is hilarious. I'll try to remember to drop the link down below in the description. But he decided to troll Ilhan Omar so bad that they kicked a puppet out of a rally.
Hey, before we run this clip, Bird, would it be all right if I told our audience to hit that like and subscribe and turn on their notifications?
Hey, you guys heard it. Hit that like, hit that share, hit that subscribe, smash the notification. It's the free way to help this channel grow as big as possible.
And on that note, let the clip roll, Bird.
Oh, I made it smaller. Do it again.
That's all right.
Real quick, before we even dive into you, let's give you some context. And this video blew up, got millions of views. I love this video of you teasing a woman who married her brother, allegedly. But I mean, I think
allegedly.
sure about it. So let's play shot number 2. Excuse me.
Hi. We're eagerly awaiting for Ilhan Omar to speak. Ilhan Omar is famous for many, many things. I want to speak very softly and respectfully here.
Ilhan Omar, did you consummate the marriage to your brother? Which is worse, immigration fraud or brother fucking? Are there any other relatives you fancy, Ilhan? How did your brother propose to you? All right.
Tax billing number 3.
That was great. Oh shit, that's hilarious.
I'm dead. Listen, this is what these liberal politicians 1000% deserve. They deserve to be asked the questions that they don't want to be asked but that need to be asked. Why are you doing things like marrying your brother for his citizenship? What is going on there? How is that legal, and why are you still in our country?
Well, it's definitely not legal, and she's only still in the country because she's an actual U.S. citizen now, and obviously she wanted her brother to be one too.
I don't care.
So
she wasn't born here. I'd take her citizenship away. I don't care.
All I know is she's brother fucking crazy.
That is so funny. What do you mean you continue? You'll be arrested. So where was that, Ed?
That was at the Triangle, which is southeast of the U.S. Capitol. It's where all the blowhards come to bloviate, including Ilhan Omar and a lot of members of her squad. They were all there that day, and I was frustrated, Alex. No press has asked Ilhan Omar that very pertinent question.
It is a necessary question.
Effer? And someone had to do it. Someone had to step up. It might as well be the DEI hire of the Daily Caller.
And
Boom,
Edgar, I mean this when I say this.
Boom,
you're a
baby.
hero for doing that. And I know how difficult it is to yell and scream at a serious thing like that. And I know exactly where that triangle is. It was about 100 feet from the Capitol steps, where I famously called AOC my favorite big booty Latina. So I'm very familiar with it.
Alex Stein loves AOC. Alex Stein loves AOC.
He does. That's his favorite big booty Latina.
This is great. Just so everybody knows, Edgar is wearing a pussy hat.
Yes, it's a vagina cap. It is a vagina cap that he is wearing.
Bro, I watched Jesse Lee Peterson doing like straight interviews, and some lady was wearing that, and he said, "You wear your pussy on your head?"
That's so hilarious.
So how were you received when they said you're going to get arrested? Really, you are allowed to stay in there. Were you actually worried, though, that they were going to arrest you just for kind of yelling? You're allowed to do that.
Yeah, well, you know what? When a cop with a gun approaches you, you just tend to listen. And, he said, if you keep on going, you're going to be arrested. So
that's true.
I support the police, but we have been hassled a lot because exercising our very loud First Amendment rights.
Well,
and that's okay.
Is it okay? Because, I've been having this existential crisis. You know, they say we're conservative, so we got to back the blue. And I do back the blue. And I know it is hard to do a job. And I'd like to get Gerard's opinion on this. But I still don't trust a damn cop as far as I can throw one. So, I mean, should we still?
I mean, let's be fair. In God's eyes, man's not supposed to trust no man.
No. Well, we're definitely not supposed to trust cops because they're trained for us. I mean, dude, they're not supposed to be our friends. They're supposed to be protecting
No, they're supposed
society.
to be protecting, upholding the law.
And you know what? And I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
But they do seem to get a little overzealous sometimes when they got a puppet try to express their free speech.
You guys will see in a minute. It's even funnier.
Trust cops, Gerard? I mean, limiting his free speech? I don't like to see that.
I never eat a pig because a pig is a cop. Or better yet, a Terminator, like Alex. But you know what? You capitulated pretty quick there, which goes back to your original line of questioning, clearly and illegal.
Yeah, you are illegal, and I think that's the proof right there.
Yeah.
You're not familiar with the First Amendment, or are you?
We have Tom Holman here right now.
Tom, come here.
This is great. Yo, I love Alex Stein. He is one of that Ukraine thing that I showed you earlier, the Ukraine
that
rep.
was hilarious.
That was the first time I've ever seen Alex Stein. It is so funny, dude.
The putting a bullet in Putin's brain was pretty funny.
I was dying.
Coming here right now he's going to hack your computer and he's going to find your location. Okay.
Tom. Now listen, Alex, and you listen to me, big boy. I got something to say to you. You won't deport me because you don't know where I live. Also, P.S. Listen, I can't go to prison. I hope you understand. I have a gaping wide puppet hole that will definitely be used if I get incarcerated.
This is the greatest. This is hilarious.
Oh my God, that is so freaking funny, man. Oh my God, I love this puppet.
That is very true.
Elon Omar, would you?
Play it safe.
I got to tell you, I think I would. I think I'm.
Let's ask Edgar real quick. Yeah, because Edgar, if you did have genitalia, if God created you anatomically correct, which we're all God's creations, even you. Would you sleep with Elon Omar? Because let's just be real, her body's not bad. I mean, she's not out of shape. She's just, kind of looks weird.
Yeah. Ilhan Omar is stunningly beautiful, and I'm sorry I had to confront her. As for, any sexuality, look, I am soft, I am long, I'm like one big clitoris, to be honest. That's as far as I get in terms of metaphor.
Yes!
Can you say that word?
No, we're not allowed to say that, and we're going to be in probably a lot of legal trouble, so it is okay. But
I'm sorry, Alex.
It's okay. But Edgar, but this next one, I'm really mad at you about. Honestly, I love the Elon Omar, but this one, I'm really mad. Why did you go and mess with the Patriot Front? Aren't they the best FBI agents that the government can hire? Why? I mean, I thought you backed the boys. Can we play number 2? And then
Are you the leader of Patriot Front?
I'm not going to talk to your puppet.
Now, will you talk to me, though? Where is your f***ing mask? Aren't you concerned about disease? What about disease? What about the disease of LARPing? Are you a sheriff's department? Why wouldn't you show us your identity? I am not ashamed to be out here. If you're such a good cause, take off the mask. COVID's you're maskless. Why can't your bitches be like you?
I love it, dude. This is hilarious.
Bitches. Such f***ing Leos. I see you laugh at you.
This is
Take your
so
mask off. If you
funny.
laugh with me, you gotta unmask your.
Oh my
Who's worse,
God.
a libtard or a Patriot Front? Because I feel like those guys were actually kind of being a little affable. So what's worse to deal with on the street?
Well, dang it.
he wants to say the libtards, but
Yeah, he does.
But he knows that them people those are not no nonsense people.
Yeah, for sure.
Thing. The Patriot Front did not try to strike me, did not try to kill me. They still filled me with the kind of fear that I do get around law enforcement.
Rightfully
I did
so.
get that cop vibe, like a cop drop on day off vibe from them. They're definitely feds. They look like their dress is right out of the FBI Academy. I mean, who are they fooling? I hope Kash Patel just fires them all.
Wait, Edgar, we have to cut you out. Can Cash, because if it is the Patriot Front is an inside job, or we say they're agent provocateurs, we're going to know very soon, right? Wouldn't Kash Patel immediately 86 that program?
You know, this little puppet heart of mine has gotten his hopes up so often, Alex. I don't want to dream anymore. I want arrests. I want Hillary Clinton to be dragged away, or at least a pie to the face, but it hasn't happened yet, sir.
Oh, I'm sure Hillary Clinton's gotten plenty positive face.
Yeah, she has. Well, she definitely likes cream pies.
Whoa. You men are disgusting.
Yeah, we are. I'm talking about the delicious dessert that you can get. Little Debbie's are delicious. This video is great. I really like SOT number 4. This one wasn't as viral as Elon Omar, but still such a great video. Let's play SOT number 4.
They're calling Elon Hitler. They're calling Trump Hitler. They're calling me Hitler.
Oh, no kicks for me because of climate change and everything. Man, don't talk to him. He's a fascist. Oh, fuck you, Muppet.
Fascist
so
Muppet.
would you become Elon Musk?
A fascist puppet. That's great. I love that
baby
guy.
mama for anything? We have here an Antifa-style ladies. They believe in repressing your freedom of speech because, God forbid, you talk to anyone from the other side. This is why the left fails. They want to repress your rights. They're authoritarian people. They want you to not have a voice. It's so important that everything they say you hear and nothing I say. No second opinions on anything. It's what they do. It's why you're a virgin at 35.
It's why you're a virgin at 35.
That's hilarious.
And probably very true because, I mean, look at her.
Yeah, puppets do rule. And you know who doesn't rule? Authoritarians. Is that for both holes? In all of 2025. Why are you doing circles around me? Can I have your phone number? I'll let you put your hand inside me.
I want you to put.
That's great. Oh my God.
I want you to put your hand inside me.
Oh man.
Bro.
Oh shit, that was hilarious. Oh
That
my God.
is great.
Wow. Edgar,
he's something else.
Yes, sir.
Where do you stand on the Ashley St. Clair Elon issue? I'm Team Ashley. Where do you stand? Are you Team Elon?
I can't stand Alex. Could you please stop mentioning it?
Look at this vagina wearing. Look at that. Is that a vagina hat too, Edgar? So you're
no. Look. It makes me look. The blue plus the pink makes me look trans, so I can go anywhere I want. Come on, it's a very smart move.
Edgar, I want you to watch with us my recent. This is just a little snippet from a recent women's march I went to in Dallas, Texas. I want to get your opinion, Ed.
Oh yeah, I love this.
No, women belong in the kitchen. Women belong in the kitchen. Women belong in the kitchen. Women belong in the kitchen.
I love it.
No, why are transgender people leading a women's march? Wait, seriously.
Alex Stein is such a troll, dude. This is so funny to me, dude. I love seeing him go to these things and just completely saying the opposite of what they're there to do.
That's hilarious, dude. He does dude, he just rips them, man. It's great. I love it.
Fucking hilarious.
Look at this. This guy says real men support women's rights, but he won't show his
So Edgar,
face.
you have a hand up your ass. That guy kicked my butt, and it looked like it hurt, but I guess there's energy left. It almost like they just tapped my butt. But what do you do in those situations when you get assaulted? I feel like I'll always get in trouble if I retaliate.
All right, listen, sir. I'm going to tell you your problem. You have a combination of things which leads to conflict. You say inflammatory things, and you have a very punchable face.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Everybody says that.
That is hilarious because, listen, I could see that if you don't like Alex Stein, that he definitely has a face that you would want to punch if you didn't like. Because he looks like the way he acts and the way he looks, he could definitely get on your nerves with that.
Oh, absolutely. But that's what makes him so great.
Yeah, I love it. Alex
I love
is
it.
hilarious.
Yeah. Dude, he is that was the best thing that ever happened to the Blaze Network was Alex Stein.
Yep.
Yes, you do. It is the punchablest face I've ever met, except for Gerard's ass. Anyway, I think. I laughing in the background. You got poltergeists?
Yeah, we do. We do. Our producers are on Delta 9 weed, so they're laughing extra hard.
That's hilarious, dude.
Oh my God. I love Edgar. I'll tell you what, man. As far as I'm concerned, Edgar is the new American hero.
He really is.
True. He's hilarious.
So,
and dude, he trolls the libs. I mean,
yeah.
It takes a lot of guts
Without
to
a doubt.
stick your hand up a puppet's ass and go troll a bunch of Antifa.
Yeah, because they're already triggered and on edge as it is. They don't know what to think when they see that coming.
That was hilarious. I love it. Edgar for president one day.
Edgar for president. So Edgar being an American hero, let's get into some anti-American villains. Can we call them that, I guess? These liberal judges around the country seem to have a thing for crime and allowing it to run rampant in their cities. And it's just crazy to me how you could be a judge, and I understand being a little bit lenient towards people, maybe having a tiny bit of, I really don't, but I can understand how some people can have like that little soft spot where like, okay, I'm going to give this person another chance. But at the end of the day, when somebody's out here committing crime after crime after crime, getting out of jail, committing another crime, getting right back out, committing another crime, then obviously they're a menace to society, right?
I would think so. And it's also, and I noticed that the judges, it's in major cities all over the country. And I suspect a little bit has to do with the overcrowding of the prisons. So I don't want to completely put it in their hands. But there are some, I mean, like that Judge Hanna who basically let that guy go out the back door. So I mean, those are blatant crimes.
Yeah, those are we'll see that in a second. But yeah, that's a blatant, hey, you're going against the Constitution.
I mean, that was breaking the law. And of course, you know, the Justice Department did bring charges against her, and she's going to be disbarred. Right. I mean, I hope it was worth it to her.
Right. So here in Cleveland, we have a situation that just happened, and then we're going to show you a couple other situations. But we had this kid. He's been nothing but a nuisance to this city, from what I'm understanding. I've never seen the kid before, obviously, so I don't know.
What is he, like 17 or something or is he like 18 or something?
I think he's in his teens, maybe early 20s, if that. But these judges just keep seeming to let them get out and get out and get out and cause more havoc. Get out, cause more havoc, and it seems to be a continuing trend around the country with just liberal judges.
Yeah, that is for sure. I don't see too many conservative judges doing it. I mean, for a conservative judge, there better be some extenuating circumstances, because otherwise, you know, that's definitely not something you're going to see in the rural areas. Let's just put it this way. What this kid did in Cleveland, had he did that, say, like in Mansfield or something like that, or Lodi,
or Parma.
Or Parma. If it was in Parma, they would have given them 6 months to a year in their Parma jail. They'll do whatever. I mean, if the county isn't going to do it, they'll do it for you. So
that's true.
Yeah.
So let's show.
And that's a Democrat city, by the way.
Yeah, true.
Parma's a liberal Democrat city, but their judges are very liberal there.
No, not at all. So we'll show you guys what we're talking about with this one.
We may be reaching a turning point with liberal judges and their laughable leniency. A Cleveland news station called out a judge after freeing a suspect who probably shouldn't have been. Take a look.
This man, Cyrus Walters, was in court here earlier this week, pleading guilty to brutally assaulting 3 men, all within the same month. However, the judge let him walk, and now his victims are outraged.
I was fairly certain he was trying to kill me.
Walters viciously attacked David Dudley last year in downtown Cleveland. Dudley's a criminal defense attorney who is here on business. He represents clients from across the country.
And I have been in front of over 1,000 judges.
But the one who's baffled him the most is Judge Cassandra Collier-Williams.
He ran towards me and kicked me in the ribs and my shoulder, and then multiple times in the back of the head. And
Dudley.
Now, I'm sorry. A kid doing this, things like this, and constantly get on doing it and doing it and doing it. I don't care if the jails are crowded. He belongs in there.
Well, she should have gave him at least 6 months in prison.
Yeah.
I mean, for what? I mean, I'm going to be honest, Bird, for the crime that he committed. Just it's not like he shot her. He didn't shoot anybody. He didn't stab anybody, but he did. Somebody had to get stitches due to him, and obviously he hurt 2 older gentlemen and stuff like that. And it seems like he targets senior citizens.
Yeah.
Which makes him a coward for sure.
Yeah. I think I would lock this kid up and just throw away the key. I don't care. Kids like this are just nuisances.
He should have gotten 6 months to a year of real prison time, and I think that would have. Well, one of two things would have happened.
It wouldn't have changed him. It would have just institutionalized him, regardless. But it seems like he's heading in that direction anyway.
Yeah, here's the deal. He's at some point. At some point, he's going to serve real time, and whether it's Judge Cassandra Williams or some other judge,
let's hope that
he's eventually going to serve real time.
Let's hope that these judges constantly let him get off and getting off and getting off, that he doesn't go and do something severely serious and to end somebody's life, and then he doesn't realize it.
Well, if he ends up killing somebody, I mean. Like I voted for Cassandra Williams, believe it or not.
Yeah.
But with that said, I mean, if this kid ends up killing somebody on the street, yeah, she might as well hang up the next election. Because don't. I mean, someone else is going to come in and take that position. So I mean, that's the thing that these judges don't think about. Most of these are elected positions,
right?
So,
your constituents, especially with a judge, your constituents have to feel safe with what you're doing.
Yeah, and if they don't, they'll vote you out when the next time comes around.
This has nothing to do with anything other than safety.
Yeah, and now this kid Moore is a nuisance, and he hasn't killed anybody yet.
Yeah.
So, and I don't even want to say that he will, but I still think he should have done at least 6 months in prison.
Definitely.
Suffered severe contusions and a broken shoulder.
This guy is unpredictably violent.
During Walter's bench trial this past Monday, Collier-Williams reduced his felony charge to a misdemeanor, allowing Walters to walk the streets of Cleveland once again. Walters spent 2 months in jail until earlier this week when Judge Collier-Williams let him go with time served.
The judge gave him the absolute minimum sentence that was available.
I feel the judge let us down.
Surveillance video captured Walters beating on him in Tower City.
She's just getting time served, which is, I think, ridiculous because I feel he's a menace to society.
After assaulting Tony, Walters was arrested and released the next day to attack once again. This time, he injured a man near Whiskey Island so severely, he required stitches.
I ain't do no crime, bro. We've been walking this whole time.
He's going to be out there doing the same thing again.
Walters. Sorry, this kid's a menace to society.
I always see that kid downtown, by the way.
I never go downtown, and this is the reason why I don't go downtown much anymore.
Well, I have to drive my patients down to the clinic, so it's like. But we've seen him quite a few times. We see him panhandling, harassing people at the BP. He's just a general nuisance, and I think he should have got at least 6 months.
Yeah, 6 months.
And I think 6 months in a penitentiary, or at least in a lockdown like Lorraine, probably would have taught him a lesson or two.
It might have.
Maybe not. Maybe it would have taught him nothing. I don't know.
You never know.
But
arrested again yesterday, just 2 days after being released. He now faces some minor charges in Garfield Heights.
An interesting side note in this case, in 2021, this judge's son was convicted of murdering his wife and sentenced to life in prison. The impatience with judges being lenient has grown all over.
This is the third time.
See, this isn't just Cleveland, though, you guys. This is
all
over the country.
This is not.
This is all over the country.
We pursued
this takes place in Dallas, right?
I think so, yeah.
The last time I talked about him, I actually specifically stated that if the judges don't start taking this seriously, that someone's going to get hurt or killed.
Yeah, it's true.
here we are, shooting at the police. So maybe they'll take it more serious this time, but I'm not confident.
We've got a judge out there allegedly helping an illegal escape ICE and another allegedly harboring terrorists in his home.
Wow.
Oh yeah, that fucking guy. Yeah.
That's sad. Look at this. Look, they got a mask on Abe. Like, don't do that to Abe. Don't do that to honest Abe. That's not honest.
Why are they still wearing masks? It's 2025.
This could be an old picture, to be fair.
It could be, or it could just be because she's another communist judge.
Yeah.
But outside of
these
comically
communists
ridiculous,
like to show each other with those black masks. Their masking is how the commies, that's how they, especially the black mask, that's used to signal each other.
cases, judges' leniency is leading to people getting killed. Here's a few recent cases that are just the tip of the iceberg.
30-year-old Alexander Dickey in Columbia, South Carolina, was robbing a house in the middle of the night. He moved on to his second house. It was there he confronted 22-year-old Logan Federico. He shot her in the chest and killed her.
Police say Dickey killed Logan. He stole debit and credit cards, then used those cards in what they describe as a shopping spree.
Police say Dickey is a career criminal. If you look at his criminal arrest record, it goes page.
Let's read this. Let's read this right quick. 40 criminal and traffic cases between 2013 and the present. So that's
that
within
means
an
he was
11-year
driving
stint.
without a license a bunch of times too, because nobody gets that many traffic cases.
No, it's almost nearly impossible.
I mean, I've been pulled over 3 times in the last 15 years, and I work on the road.
8 of those right here says sentenced in 8 cases that involve charges such as robbery, drug possession, and larceny. That's 8 of those, right? Those eight getting involved in that 8 different times, depending on what drugs you possessed, obviously, because they're going to be a little bit different with weed as opposed to crack, heroin, coke, meth, fentanyl, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But the larceny
is grand theft.
Right, and robbery is robbery. You're robbing somebody. You know what I mean?
That usually requires violence. I mean, it doesn't say battery and robbery.
Yeah,
but they probably got that dropped down. I guarantee you, the original charge had battery in it.
But my point in this is 8 out of those 40 are that, right?
Yeah.
So that means 32 incidents. Let's say between 2013 and 2025, 20 of them are driving things, just driving without a license, maybe running a red light, speeding, running a stop sign, anything, right?
They probably knew
that
who
still
he was,
means
dude.
that still means that half of his stuff are all criminal activities.
Here's what I don't understand. All I see is placed on probation for compliance. If he has 40 criminal and traffic cases between 2013 and now, and we're only talking 12 years.
He obviously hasn't learned his lesson.
That's an average of 2 felonies a year.
That's well, to be fair, it doesn't say felonious traffic cases.
Well, it says robbery, drug possession, and larceny. All
well,
those
those for sure. I'd say, I bet you, I'll guarantee.
3rd-degree burglary is definitely a felony.
We know at least 8 of them are possible felonies.
Yes, at least.
Okay, so how does this man get placed on probation for compliance? What exactly was he complying to? Was he complying to the opposite side of the law?
Maybe when they say compliance, that usually means he was showing up to his PO meetings, doing whatever drug,
bro, this is wild to me.
Whatever drug rehab or whatever drug outpatient care, going to his AA meetings and getting his paper signed, whatever. All those things. He's obviously been, placed on probation for compliance. I'm not sure where he's complied. He's averaging 2 felonies a year. How is that compliance? What's he complying with?
There's no compliance.
I don't get it. It sounds to me.
40.
It sounds like there's no compliance.
To me.
Yeah.
40 arrests in the past 10 years.
A Kansas City firefighter paramedic is dead after being stabbed in the line of duty.
They arrived on scene and saw a woman we now know as Shanita Basel, pictured here, walking on the shoulder of Highway 152 near Oak Trafficway. She had a laceration to her finger. While being transported, things turned deadly.
Yes, I am. ASAP.
My partner's been stabbed.
She was charged just last week in connection with allegedly attacking an off-duty officer. The officer said he attempted to detain Basel, who allegedly resisted, grabbed his handcuffs, and tried multiple times to reach for a knife attached to his chest, to his vest, while attempting to call for help. On his police radio, the officer reported that Basel bit his left forearm and refused to let go.
Okay, so a few things, right? Number one, this lady should not be out on the streets. I'm not saying she belongs in prison.
Absolutely not.
I'm not saying she belongs in jail or prison. I'm saying she needs to be in a nut house.
Yeah, she's got a crazy. She's got crazy eyes too. Look at her.
Number two, this is exactly what I was talking about with that kid in Cleveland, right? This is what happens where she did this to this officer. They let him go, and she got on and stabbed somebody and stabbed another officer and killed him.
And now she's going to spend the rest of her life in prison.
Yep.
So much for the nut house, because you're right. I mean, ultimately, some kind of psychiatric intervention, at the very least, medication would have been a good disruptor of her behavior. But again, put them back on the street without any type of overseeing, and well, now you have a dead cop. So I mean,
the judge in that case, as in all criminal cases, reviewed the circumstances, determined the appropriate bond. In that case, bond was set at $10,000, and the defendant posted that bond.
56-year-old Tim Smith was working on an electrical box in China.
$10,000 bond for killing a cop.
That was.
Isn't that what that was?
I thought they said he was released. Wow. That bond should have been at least $1.5 million.
I thought that was
$10,000.
Isn't that what they said?
I mean, listen,
bit his left forearm and refused to let go.
The judge in that case, as in all criminal cases, reviewed the circumstances, determined the appropriate bond. In that case, bond was set at $10,000.
No, that was for the biting the cop. That's for the biting the cop.
Oh, okay. All right. That makes sense. I was about to say, man, $10,000 for stabbing a cop and killing him? I'd sure like to know who his lawyer is. And I bet every convict in America would definitely want to know.
Without a doubt.
You know what I mean? But if I ever have any family members that need a lawyer,
yeah, I'm calling him.
I hope they call this guy lawyer.
They must have resurrected Johnny Cochran or something.
I guess so. Like Bob Kardashian come back to life.
Maybe you can bring Bruce Jenner back.
Robert Shapiro. Yeah, Bruce. Hey, I don't think he's ever coming back.
56-year-old Tim Smith was working on an electrical box in Chinatown. Police say Patavona walked up behind Smith and hit him on the head with a blunt object. The man police say is responsible has a lengthy criminal history, including assault on police officers, resisting.
What was the purpose of that?
Where is this taking place at? What city is this one?
Let's watch it again. Let's watch it. Dude, that's wild. This dude's not doing
Fresno.
He's just
Fresno, California.
But he's just working, bro. The dude's wow. He's not even a cop.
Kind of a conservative area too.
56-year-old Tim Smith was working on an electrical box in Chinatown. Police say Patavona walked up behind Smith and hit him on the head with a blunt object. The man police say is responsible has a lengthy criminal history, including assault on police officers, resisting arrest, trespassing, and vandalism.
A man fiddling with...
But like, what was the purpose of just running up on that guy like that for? I don't understand it.
Dude, there's just a whole lot of crazy that's been unleashed on the world, and I don't understand the judges, the politicians. They're all like in favor of it. I don't understand it. These are people who 20 years ago would have never been in favor of these lenient. It's just the woke gone crazy. The virus, dude. Woke is a virus.
It's sad.
It truly is.
It's pathetic.
It truly is.
It's truly pathetic.
It's a brain rotting virus. So I thank God every day I never became woke.
Same.
Oh my God, I'm glad I resisted all my family members.
It's funny
and
because
all my friends.
I even look back on things that I said 10 years ago, and my mindset was still the same. I'm like, oh, okay, I always just thought like this.
Yeah, there's no way. I mean, dude, I thought these are people who at one time were normal thinking human beings whose minds have crossed over to the woke virus. And dude, if we don't destroy the woke, if we don't destroy this woke virus, We're done.
Yeah.
We're done.
Ants outside the Bella Vita Apartments on Ella Boulevard Saturday, while a horrified woman records from her window. Not long after, Harris County Sheriff's deputies say he attacked a 13-year-old girl.
Wow.
An anonymous tipster tells
Of course he
deputies
did.
who they're looking for. 41-year-old Stanley Dotson. A man court records show has been arrested at least 26 times, starting when he was just 13.
Wow.
That's
well,
wild.
There you have it, man.
I mean, crime is just running rampant throughout the country right now, and I don't know if there's anything we can actually do about it, because as people, we're just flawed. Seriously, we are completely flawed as individuals, and there's just some people that just take it to the next extreme.
All I can say is keep your eyes open in the back of your head and in your home. Make sure you're armed.
Yeah, just
protect
yourself,
bottom line,
protect your family, you know?
I mean, I think you have a constitutional responsibility to have a weapon to protect your family.
Right.
You know what? Because nowadays, you can't depend on the police because they call the police and then they throw them back out in the street anyway.
Right.
I mean, hey, it's a great intervention at the moment. But what if that person comes back?
That's true. No, 1,000%.
If that person comes back, I'll tell you what. Somebody assaults me outside of my property or on my property, well, that will be the end of them. But
yeah.
if we have no choice. We have to be able to protect ourselves.
Without a doubt. It's our constitutional right.
And here's the thing, is people who protect themselves or try to protect others, like Daniel Penny, you see what they did to that man. They tried to destroy
they tried
Daniel
prosecuting
Penny.
him. They tried prosecuting him, but Carmelo Anthony's sticking up for himself. Make it make sense.
Yeah, he's self-defense. Yeah, even though he did make the comment, "Touch me and you'll see what happens to you." That kid went to and as it turns out, he actually had a previous past with those two boys.
Oh, really?
You know what I mean? With the brothers.
Well, I look at it like this. See, the reason why I never really said anything, I never really made no videos about it, I never really talk about it too much, because when it all's said and done, when they go to court, we'll see what really happened. We'll see how it really went down. And we'll know the truth.
Carmelo Anthony's going to prison.
I don't doubt that at all.
There's no question.
Because at
he
minimum,
may not get life.
At
Don't
minimum,
be surprised if he don't get life.
At minimum, he shouldn't have had a knife with him there anyway.
Not at some kind of track meet or football game.
You don't take weapons to school. Last time I checked,
sports events.
Last time I checked, you got in school. You got in trouble for that.
Try to get into the Brown Stadium with a knife in your pocket,
dude. I remember one time when we were in 6th grade. I don't know if you guys ever had this, but every now and then we'd have metal detectors at our school. Did you guys have that when you were kids?
We started getting metal detectors. I remember even the Cleveland School of Arts had metal detectors back in the 90s and 80s.
We didn't have them all the time, but every now and then, like a company would come set up and they do metal detectors.
That's weird what they were doing at our school too.
Somebody knew that we were having them, and they decided to take a blade out of our shop class and put it in my binder, right? Luckily, I checked my binder for some odd reason before I walked in, and I took the blade out. But somebody was trying to get me in trouble for something like that.
Now, I will admit this, when I was early, the whole metal detector thing started when I was in the 11th and 12th grade.
Yeah.
Before that, it was pretty much a free-for-all. And honestly, dude, I knew kids who carried guns at school.
Yeah. I'd imagine there was probably a couple kids who did in my school.
It was a little different in the 80s because people used to have shotguns in their trucks.
Yeah, that's true. And I remember back in the days, they used to have classes where you can shoot your guns.
Oh yeah, dude. We had when I was doing the ROTC, we were able to shoot 22s and stuff. So
so it's a little bit different back then.
Yeah,
I would say when I was a kid, it was more so the hip hop era and stuff like that. So a lot of the kids that carried the guns, I don't think they brought them to school. I think they just didn't come to school.
Fair enough.
Right.
I mean, metal detectors is a little harder.
So when I was in high school, for a lot of the kids that were all the dope dealers and shit, it was the first week was fashion week for them, and then they went out and then they didn't come back.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, they were looking for new customers or trying to find that.
Well, they were showing off all their new clothes from the summer.
Showing off their new clothes and trying to recruit new, new employees and new clients.
I grew up with kids wearing gold teeth, stuff like that. So That's how that was when I was in high school.
I mean, when I was in high school, I always carried at least a knife, though. But most of the time, it was as a tool.
Yeah,
I never really thought about using it on someone.
But like I said, it was
for
different.
Cutting stuff. And,
it was different back then, and rules were different back then.
It definitely was different. It was definitely different. But by the time I was in high school, especially the last 2 years, the metal detectors came, the rules gotten. But honestly, people still got through it.
Yeah,
I ain't gonna lie, man. There was a kid in my school who carried a gun every day, and honestly, the teachers knew it.
Yeah,
everybody knew it. Nobody said shit. So what are you gonna do?
Sure. Yeah, for sure. Well, everybody, on that note, this episode is over. We really appreciate you guys stopping by. I'd like to thank God, because without him, this is not possible. Also, by the way, my birthday was just a couple of days ago. So
happy birthday, Bird.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. So by the grace of God, I'm able to see 39. Thank you so much. I want to thank Double D. I want to thank my family, and I want to thank all of you. Appreciate you guys for everything you do, for everything you get, for watching our videos, just for giving us the opportunity to have our voice spread.
Absolutely. And I'd like to thank you, Bird, and happy birthday, my friend. And hopefully we'll see 40 and 50 and 60 and so on.
Yep.
And also, as always, I thank our audience for sticking around and checking it out today and hanging out with us to the very end. But most importantly, I'd like to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, for making this all possible. And with all that, good night, y'all.
Have a good one, everybody. Peace.